Hi friends, hey, welcome back. Today we're in my shop again because I'm going to show you how to make a lightweight, easy to build, really portable target frame out of pretty much scrap 2x4s. And it doesn't take long. Let's do it. You know, anytime you do something like this, even if it's something really simple, and trust me, I have learned this the hard way, it's always a good idea to do a cut list. And that basically gives you a chance to sort of get your head around what it is you're going to do. It doesn't always pay to cut everything out right at first. What it mostly does is show you, well, how much wood do I need, and roughly, you know, what is this thing going to look like? Then you basically assemble it one cut at a time. I'll show you as we move forward. Okay, well, I looked at the wood that I had, and I've got this 2x4 stud. And what I'm going to do is cut it to 48 inches and then rip it on the table saw. And that'll give me two that are, you know, 1 3/4 wide, give or take a little bit. If you don't have a table saw, just buy 2x2 stock at Home Depot or something. So all of this can be adjusted to whatever wood you have on hand and whatever size that you want. But the basic construction is what I mostly wanted to show you. All right, let's cut this wood and get on with the show. You know, table saws are miracle tools, except they will bite you. And I've got a sign here and it says, danger, not only will this kill you, it will hurt the whole time you're dying. And so I always read that before I turn this on. What we'll do, since a 2x4 is actually 1.5 by 3.5, I want to cut this in two, so I'll set the fence to 1.75 inches and then we'll rip it and then we'll go on from there. Back at the miter saw, what I'm going to do now is cut those 4 small block inserts that you saw that went in between the base there. And what we're going to end up with there are basically little pockets that you can put the uprights in and take them out again. Okay, now we're going to do 2 21-inch cross pieces down at the base there, and they're going to be side by side, and then those blocks are going to fit in between. Okay, so we did the cross piece. Now we're going to do the legs, the stand on either side. And I went ahead and bumped this up because I had the wood to 30 inches, so that means, you know, that'll give you a little bit more stability. But I have a feeling, you know, if you had shorter uprights, 20 inches, 24 inches, whatever you need. And remember, all of this can be done with a skill saw or a saber saw, even a hand saw. So don't let any fancy machines scare you away from trying this project. Now that center 2x4 in this target is made for a steel plate, and you can buy them that they've got a little bracket on the back, so it basically just slips over the top of a 2x4. And so it's really handy. So problem is they get chewed up after a little while, and but this is so simple and you don't have to take your target apart, you just replace the 2x4. So let's get this center 30-inch 2x4 cut. Okay, now comes the fun part, which I like to do kind of a dry fit first. You know, here we have the sides, here we have those 2 pieces. I've got the 2 end pieces, and then the center 2x4. I made the center 2x4 a little bit shorter because my target has this bracket that goes up and then the target sits above it. So I guess for aesthetic reasons. What you want to do is, rather than measure and screw everything together, you should go ahead and fit things a step at a time. This is how this is going to go, and then the center 2x4 is going to go in here. So based on that, you know where to place these spacers. And that's always actually better than doing a measure, because you can make mistakes, and this way you know it's going to fit. Now, it doesn't have to fit real tight either, so it seems to be pretty stable. Just use whatever you have at hand. I've got these drywall screws and deck screws. I like to use a longer one for the end here to secure them, because you're going into end grain, so a nice long screw, a couple of those, and then to secure this side, these are 2.5-inch drywall screws, and that's all you need, because it's really not load bearing. The thing about the side pieces is you might tweak them a little bit as you're moving around and banging into things, but you know, remember though, when you're all done, it just sort of folds down really easily. I'll show you. You know, on kind of a side note, I don't know if you have noticed this, but with drywall screws, or these sort of deck construction screws, I found if you're going through one 2x4 into another one, I like to pre-drill the first hole, because that lets the screws seat deeper, and you also don't get so much splitting and whatnot. So I'll do some pre-drilling, and then we'll screw this thing together. So now we'll install the other spacers, and remember, use the piece that you actually have to put in there and then butt it up against it, and then that way you're not guessing by measuring. You actually know, okay, this fits. Then I'm going to pre-drill and then put some of those drywall screws in. Okay, same drill on the center slot. I've marked a center here. And remember, we're not building, you know, the Eiffel Tower here, so you know, it's rough cut 2x4s, and it's a target, which is going to get shot to pieces anyway. So don't be too, you know, too intensive about all this kind of stuff. But let's put this in here, and then what we'll do is actually fit one of these, so I know that's where it's going to go. Then I'll go ahead and mark it and drill it. Okay, well, you know what, if we hadn't done the step-by-step, I think from the time you start making this till the time you're done making this could probably be about 15 or 20 minutes. So what you end up with is 4 pieces, 5 if you have the center 2x4, and so you go wherever you're going to shoot, and then this just goes in like this. And now you have a target frame. And so at this point, you could put cardboard up here, or you could put a 2x4 backing that you could staple to, or, you know, whatever you want to do. In my case, I've got that steel plate, which will sit on here, and it'll sit about up here, I suppose. And it's going to be in front of these, so at least the you know, jacketing material won't mess them up too bad. But if they do, it doesn't really matter, because you just cut some new wood, and there you go. Total investment here, if you had to actually buy the 2x4s in today's crazy market, probably, I don't know, $10 at the most, and then a buck or two of deck screws or drywall screws, and you're good to go. Hey, if you like this kind of stuff, let me know and make a comment. There's a lot of this kind of stuff out there. If you nose around, you'll see something that you might like better. This will give you some ideas on some techniques on how you do this kind of stuff. And hit the like button if you would. And by all means, remember the 4 firearm safety rules. Thanks a lot, you guys.